All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So what I'm going to talk about today is, are your mood swings destroying your relationships? And I don't mean friendships as with your, if you're a guy, your other buddies, or, if you're a girl with your other friends. I'm talking about, it could be whoever you're dating, whoever you're engaged to, whoever you're married to, or whoever you're dating in general. Like, do your moods kind of destroy I don't even know what the word, like, just the atmosphere in general. And I was just talking with somebody who wants to probably me to help them in relationships, and I know he's a very serious dude, and I run across this with my other friends too. Some are just very serious, and I brought this up a few times I should say, in the last couple weeks with guys, because I know kind of how serious they are a lot of times. Even though they think they're being funny, they're really not that funny. And even though they think they're being sometimes kind, they're not coming off that kind. Not that they're coming off mean either. There's just not a lot there. It's like flatlining, I call it. Like when you sometimes first start dating somebody, sometimes it can start off really fun, but as time goes on, as it just starts to get bogged down. The more you know this person, it gets more serious, maybe because that person wants to get more serious in the relationship. The discussions may get very serious. The way you behave towards one another may get a little more serious. And sometimes it's moving too quickly. And I think a lot of times this may happen with men and women. I should say both, because I think a lot of times, especially depending on the situation you're in, if you're looking to get in a relationship and then maybe get married and have kids, you want things to really start kind of getting serious, maybe quicker than somebody who isn't looking to do all those things. But in this case, I'm really going to kind of more or less talk about men and their mood swings, is what I should say, not women's. But I do think women will be able to relate to this, because I think a lot of us, regardless what situation that you're in your relationship, I think a lot of our moods, instead of helping build a relationship to make them stronger, more interesting, and even funner, kind of go the other way. Makes them more uninteresting, makes kind of more miserable, makes things daunting. And I think no matter what situation you find yourself in a relationship, in the long term, let's face it, we're all going to get sick of hearing what the other one has to say after a while. We've heard their pitch, we know their backstory, we know their families, we know their friends. We almost know how they're going to respond a lot of times, even before they even know it. We're like, oh my God, I know what she's going to say or he's going to say. Oh my God, I know what kind of mood he's going to be in now because this person said this or did that. Right? A lot of that. But I'm here to tell you, especially the guys, you gotta switch things up a little bit, and also quit always worrying about what, say, the woman. A lot of guys, I think, also complain about women saying they do this or they do that, and I don't like the way they do this. Look at yourself. What is your behavior a lot of times? Even if you're at home, how are you acting? Let's say you go do something together. Even if you're at dinner, are you actually fun? Are you that interesting to talk to? Or are you going to talk about the same shit you've always talked about? Or are you going to bring up things that are negative, that are going to aggravate her? Are you going to try to demean her? Are you going to interrogate her? Are you there to argue? Right? And I get sometimes women do that too, right? I'm not saying it's just men, but let's focus in on you. What are you doing that's going to actually, again, make things better? And something to look forward to in this relationship, because I don't think a lot of men look at it that way. I think a lot of men look at things like, hey, I pay for this, or I give you this, or I've done this for you, or look all that I've accomplished, or whatever the hell it is. Again, very serious, but I think a lot of people don't realize when you're in a relationship, it's about fun. It's about laughter. It's about enjoyment. That honeymoon phase, a lot of times, the first couple of years you're with somebody, we always, I think, talk about the sex aspect of it, like, oh, after a certain amount of time. But I think the honeymoon phase, as far as I've always looked at it when first dating somebody, a lot of times it's interesting because it's new, but also there's a lot of fun, unique things going on. You're kind of meeting one another in different places, then you're meeting their friends, they're meeting yours, you're meeting maybe family members, a lot of things. You may travel a little bit here and there. It's all fun and kind of interesting. But as time goes on, it starts to get boring with that same person. It doesn't have to. It can get actually even more interesting and more fun. You just got to get creative in your relationship. Now, if things are going sideways, they're going sideways. But if you really start looking at your behavior in this relationship, I think, it's going to go a lot further than always looking at somebody else's behavior and saying what their problem is in a relationship. Because if you can have fun just by your, you're enjoying yourself, if that person can't match you, eventually they may have to go. Because if you want to have fun, what the hell's that? If you're not having fun, I always talk about in a relationship, what in the hell are you doing in a relationship? Now, you may be one of those guys, like, I'm not about that. I'm about finding somebody, having kids, and I'm all about business. I'm all about raising my kids. I'm all about, maybe, I don't care if it's your political views, religion. I get there's a lot of serious dudes out there. I have a lot of friends that way. But if you see yourself either in relationships with other women, or if you've been divorced a couple times, or you're having issues in your marriage, a lot of times you got to look at, what moods are you in? How are you behaving towards not only maybe, your wife or whoever you're with, but if you have kids, how are you around them? What is your mood swings like? Are they up and down? Are you waking up yelling? Are you always mad at everybody? Are you disappointed with them? Are you always throwing out one-liners to throw digs at them? And it can be a lot of things, I think, besides just how you treat one another in the relationship. You may even treat whoever you're with, their parents, not very nicely, or maybe you have stepkids, you're not treating them very nice, or they can have siblings and you're not treating them a certain way. And all these different types of things are damaging, I think, and a lot of times, especially I think with men, a lot of times we don't realize all these things till maybe it's too late. So I just really wanted to touch upon this, especially the mood swings, because I used to be moody before. I still kind of have my moods, but I'm very self-aware now of my moods. I'm older now, but I remember I used to say, you never know what mood you're going to catch me in. And it was kind of ridiculous that I realized after a point in time, like, why is everybody walking around pins and needles? Because I remember people would be like, oh, if Rich is in a good mood, it's all fun and games. But if Rich is in a bad mood, forget about it. Everyone's going to be miserable, or stay away from him. I'm like, what kind of signal am I sending off? Now, we all get in our moods. Don't get me wrong. No one's perfect. We're going to have good moods and bad moods. But if I'm the type of person where people really are afraid of how I'm going to start behaving, if I'm going to lash out, lose my temper, or shut down, or ignore you, or all these things, to me, it's not fair. Not only to others, but myself as well. I got to learn how to really, enjoy, again, like I said, enjoy my life in general and the people around me, because they're not going to be around forever. We hear it all the time. But if you really want to grow with somebody, you got to start enjoying things. And, again, I talk about you're going to have ups and downs in relationships, but back to having fun. If you are not interesting and you're not having some fun, I don't know how long it's going to last. And if it doesn't last, or doesn't seem to last for you for long periods of time, I talk about it a lot, man. It's on you, not always somebody else. So if you want any questions, or if you have any questions, I should say, comments or whatever, please hit me up. I'm at richcelenza.com. I help men find also the woman or women of their dreams through a bad breakup or divorce. And that's masteringselfconfidence.com. But yeah, pay attention to your mood swings. I'm telling you guys, and women as well. A lot of women, I get it. We goof around regarding different things, why your moods are this way or that way. And we understand if you get pregnant, or if you're a certain time of month, and all these different types of things. We all throw that stuff out there. We get it. It's all fun. But if you're somebody who's kind of always miserable to be around, or you're always upset, if the person you're with's upset, you got to address it. But if other people are kind of making you upset, and like I said earlier, you keep lashing out at the one that you're with, instead of the ones that you're upset with, how is that going to work out? We don't need to torment one another because of what other people are doing, but I do think a lot of times we do that. We lash out at the ones we love, or we torture to a certain degree verbally, not torture physically, but we verbally torture one another because of what everybody else is doing, and that other person keeps taking the grunt of it. It's not fair to them. So that's all I got for you today. I wish everyone nothing but the best.